For some serial killers, the crime itself isn't enough. They need a reminder, a trophy to relive their twisted fantasies. From stolen jewelry to severed body parts, these murderers kept chilling souvenirs, each one telling a story of control, obsession, and pure evil. Why do they do it? And what do these trophies tell about their minds? Welcome back to Prison Stories. This video discusses the most disturbing behaviors of serial killers. The need to keep trophies. From stolen jewelry to body parts, these trophies reveal the twisted psychology behind some of history's most notorious killers. Jerry Brudos, the killer obsessed with shoes. Brudos wasn't like most serial killers. His crimes weren't just about power or sadism. At the core of his obsession was something unusual: women's shoes. From a young age, Brudos developed a fetish for high heels, and what started as innocent curiosity quickly spiraled into something far darker. As a teenager, Brudos would steal women's shoes and underwear, hiding them away like trophies. But as he grew older, stealing wasn't enough. He wanted more. In the 1960s, Brudos began luring women into his garage, where he would attack and kill them. But what made his crimes truly disturbing was what he did afterward. Brudos kept trophies from his victims. He amputated their feet, preserving them so he could dress them up in different high heels. He also took photographs of his victims, posing them in outfits before discarding their bodies. These gruesome souvenirs allowed him to relive his crimes over and over again. When police finally arrested him in 1969, they discovered a chilling collection of women's shoes, photographs, and even body parts hidden in his home. Brudos was sentenced to life in prison, where he continued his obsession, requesting women's shoe catalogs to satisfy his disturbing desires until his death in 2006. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer and his collection of control. Dennis Rader, better known as the BTK killer, wasn't just a murderer. He was a meticulous record keeper who relived his crimes through the trophies he collected. Unlike killers who kept body parts, Rader's obsession was with documentation: photos, notes, jewelry, and other items stolen from his victims. Between 1974 and 1991, Rader stalked and murdered 10 people in Wichita, Kansas. After each killing, he would take souvenirs, underwear, driver's licenses, and personal items from his victims. But what made Rader's trophy keeping especially disturbing was how he used them. He took Polaroid photos of his victims in bondage, often recreating these scenes on himself later. He also kept extensive notes, and even wrote letters taunting the police and media. For Rader, the trophies weren't just reminders. They were fuel for his fantasies. He stored them in a hidden compartment at home, revisiting them to relive the power he felt over his victims. His need for recognition led to his downfall in 2005, when he sent a floppy disk to the police, unaware they could trace it back to him. When authorities searched his home, they found his chilling collection of mementos, confirming just how much he had clung to his crimes for decades. Jeffrey Dahmer, the collector of skulls. Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes are some of the most infamous in modern history, and his obsession with trophies is a major reason why. Unlike other killers who kept souvenirs as mementos, Dahmer's trophies served a deeper, more disturbing purpose. He wanted to create a collection of preserved body parts, including skulls, skeletons, and even entire bodies. Between 1978 and 1991, Dahmer lured young men into his apartment, where he drugged, strangled, and dismembered them. But he didn't just dispose of the bodies. He carefully kept parts of them. Skulls were cleaned and displayed. Hearts and other organs were stored in his refrigerator, and some body parts were even dissolved in acid. Dahmer later admitted that he would talk to these remains, reliving his crimes and attempting to keep a connection to his victims. Perhaps the most chilling part of his obsession was his plan to create a human shrine, a collection of bleached skulls and skeletons arranged in a ritualistic display. This wasn't just about trophies. It was about power, control, and an attempt to hold on to the people he had murdered. When police finally arrested Dahmer in 1991, they discovered his macabre collection inside his apartment, shocking the world. Ed Gein, the butcher who made trophies from skin. Ed Gein wasn't just a killer. He was a grave robber, body snatcher, and a man who turned human remains into household objects. His gruesome hobby of crafting trophies from corpses made him one of the most disturbing criminals in history. His crimes even inspired horror movies like Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Gein lived in isolation on his Wisconsin farm, where his obsession with death took a horrific turn. When police raided his home in 1957, they found a nightmare. Human skulls used as bowls, chairs upholstered with human skin, a belt made of nipples, and even a mask made from a woman's face. He admitted to exhuming bodies from local graveyards to collect materials for his twisted projects, but he also killed at least 2 women to expand his collection. For Gein, these trophies weren't just souvenirs. They were part of a bizarre attempt to transform himself. Investigators believe he wanted to create a woman's suit from human skin to resemble his deceased mother, to whom he had an unhealthy attachment. Though Gein was declared insane and sent to a mental institution, his crimes left a lasting scar on true crime history. Robert Hansen, the hunter who took jewelry as trophies. Known as the Butcher Baker, Robert Hansen had a chilling way of collecting trophies from his victims. Unlike other serial killers who displayed their souvenirs, Hansen kept small,
jewelry,
seemingly insignificant
red
pieces of jewelry that held horrifying significance. Between 1971 and 1983, Hansen abducted, assaulted, and murdered at least 17 women in the wilderness of Alaska. He would fly his victims deep into the woods, release them, and then hunt them like animals. After killing them, he would sometimes take pieces of their jewelry, rings, necklaces, or bracelets, before disposing of their bodies. Hansen stored these trophies in his home, quietly reliving his crimes while maintaining the facade of an ordinary bakery owner. When authorities finally arrested him, they found a collection of jewelry belonging to his victims. For these serial killers, trophies are more than just objects. They are symbols of control, power, and memory. These killers relive their crimes through the physical remnants of their victims. Whether it's clothing, jewelry, body parts, or photographs, each trophy serves as a horrible reminder of their dominance and a way to extend their crimes beyond the moment of death. In the twisted minds of these murderers, trophies help them hold on to their victims forever. But ultimately, these same trophies often lead to their downfall, evidence that speaks louder than any confession. Thank you for watching Prison Stories. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more intriguing tales from the world of crime.